Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing Willow's first saddling. It is day 5 of her training. This will be her 6th session. I did work with her twice on the first day. So right now you can see me getting everything ready. When I am doing first saddlings, I always do my best to make sure everything is ready, in place, and prepared. I'm also getting that bucket out of the way so that she doesn't get hung up on anything. I always make sure everything is as clear as can be, nothing that they can get injured on. So I cleared out everything in the round pen. I got my saddle and saddle pad in position. And then right here off frame, I don't remember exactly what I was doing. And then I walked off here and I don't know. I think I might have been looking for my stick or whatever. I don't know what I was doing. But anyway, I went and grabbed Willow. I just had her looped around the fence over there because we don't have a tie ring. And I am tightening up her halter just a little bit. Since she's started to trust me and get to know me, she started to come forward and be a little clingy, a little pushy. So I've had to get after her a little bit to get out of my space. The past at least 2 sessions that I've been working with her. So I've been doing a lot of backing up as well, just to reinforce that get out of my space. So now I'm just moving her feet around. I had already done all of the groundwork that I've been doing with her, so I'm just moving her feet around again. When you do the first saddling, you don't want them to be fresh or having been tied for a while. You want to do it after you've moved their feet out a little bit. So I'm just going to move her out both sides, change directions here in a second. And you'll notice, if you saw that video of her pulling me around during her 2nd or 3rd session, you can tell this is so much better. Oh my gosh, you have no idea. You can't even feel her at the other end of the halter. So I'm just moving her feet around, looking for her to use the thinking side of her brain. As long as everything looks like green flags, I'm going to go ahead and get her saddled up. She's a little tricky to get off of the halter pressure. You can see there she got a little stuck, so I'm moving her off to the other side. Usually when you come at it from an angle, they come off of that halter pressure a little bit better. So anyway, I'm getting her lined up so that I can throw that saddle pad and that saddle on from her right side. So this is after doing thorough desensitizing to the saddle pad being on her back, and then she has seen the saddle on the fence and on the ground while doing groundwork. So she smelled the saddle, she's seen the saddle, so it's not completely new. So now this is the point of no return. You are getting to the point where you got to get that saddle cinched up pretty darn quick, because if they move and they get a little squirrely, that saddle can slide off, and you don't want that to happen. So if the saddle goes on their back, you want it to stay on their back. So my sister was also working with a horse and putting the first ride on a horse in the square pen, which is right behind the camera. So, and then also my dad was using the mule, and it was just, there was a ton going on. So she was a little distracted. Right now, not a lot was going on. So, you can see she's kind of looking around. But as far as me as a trainer, that's fine if she's looking around, as long as she's not worried about what I'm doing and the saddling. That's what I'm looking for. You'll notice when I am on whichever side, I keep that head bent around towards the side that I'm on. That's a safety thing. That is a big safety thing. I always will keep the head bent towards the side that I'm on, because when you have the head bent one way, the hindquarters are going to move the opposite way. So if I have her bent around, or her head bent around towards the left, which is the side that I'm on right now, if she was to move away and get a little worried about what I'm doing or what anything else that's going on, 9 out of 10 times, because her head is bent towards me, that hindquarters is going to move away if she was to do something. So I didn't think she was going to do anything, but anytime I'm working with any horse, no matter what, I will always keep that head bent around towards the side that I'm on. It's a safety thing in the beginning, and then it's just a respect thing towards the end when later on in training. So I got everything cinched up. You don't want to do the front cinch really tight to begin with. And then here, I think I had already done it. I was too busy talking. I had noticed that the back cinch was a little loose. I don't want them to be able to get a hoof through that, so I did that up another hole. So after I got it all cinched up, you'll notice I'm yielding the hindquarters from a distance. I always will do this, especially, well, always during the first saddling, but if they are a little ticklish towards the saddle or they buck really bad, this is always something that I'll do, during at least the first 10 to 14 saddlings, depending on how they do. So after I yielded the hindquarters on both sides, I'm sending her out. You notice I am walking away from her. I won't normally do that. The only reason I'm doing that is because once you've established trust and they look to you for kind of guidance and safety, they will kind of cling towards you, and you don't want them clinging towards you during the first saddling, because they will, if they blow up, they're too close to you. So I sent her off. I'm trying to send her both directions just at the walk. This side, she started to get a little nervous, and then she bucked a little bit. So my job right now is to not overreact, just to keep her feet moving. And then she'll just work that out. Notice that she keeps wanting to change sides. So I just keep sending her the direction that I want her to go. I don't, I don't put too much pressure on her. I don't want to add more pressure to the situation. I'm just gently sending her that same direction, saying, hey, I wanted you to go this way. Let's keep going that way. So she stopped bucking, and then I went ahead and stopped her going that direction, changed directions. Now, this was her good side. She didn't buck at all on this side. It was just out of her right eye that first time that she got a little humpy. So she quieted down really fast to the saddle. I don't know what it was. You never really know. It could be the stirrups bumping them on the sides. It could be the breast collar. It's all new. It's all a totally new situation. They're carrying real weight around on their back for the first time. It's not going away. It's just totally a new situation. So first saddlings, they don't have to be 30 minutes. They shouldn't be very long as the horse is, behaving very well. So I sent her both directions, walk, trot, lope, and then I double checked that the front cinch was tight, because after they move out a little bit, they buck a little bit, sometimes that can get loose. If it gets loose, it can slide around, and you do not want that saddle sliding around, injuring them, getting caught underneath their belly, or just getting off in general. You do not want any traumatic or dramatic experiences to happen during the first saddling. The saddle, if it goes on, it cannot come off during the first saddling. The first 3 saddlings actually are make or break when it comes to your colt's future. So this is the first saddling. In a little bit, I'll take the saddle off. I'm doing lunging for respect stage 2 now. Sometimes if they don't buck at all with just lunging for respect stage 1, sometimes they will buck with lunging for respect stage 2, because they feel the breast collar kind of move when they do that little roll back motion. They can feel it kind of tighten around their chest a little bit, pull. So that's a different experience, and sometimes horses will buck just based off of that. So we got to move their feet forwards, backwards, left, and right. Now, again, I'm not putting pressure on her. I'm just getting her to lope out a little bit. Trotting's fine. See, she's trying to block and go the other way again. So I'm just very gently correcting that and saying, hey, let's go that way. That's the second time she did that. So when a horse does something a couple times, guess what? They're probably going to try to do it again. Do you see right there? She started to look at me, and I sent her forward because I was paying attention and I was looking for that. She did it twice before. It was kind of in the same area, so I figured she might do it another time. So that was really good. I asked her to come to the center, and now I'm going to take the saddle off, and we're going to do the whole entire process again. So this is the point in time where my dad was driving the mule around. It was kind of loud. She's definitely not, used to that necessarily. And then my sister was riding the horse at this point. So there was a lot going on for Willow. She is definitely used to me and the things that I do during training around her at this point. But typically, it's usually my sister who goes out and trains first, and then I come in a little bit after her. That's just how our schedules have kind of worked out. So usually when I'm working with Willow, it's just me working with Willow. So there's not really like a lot of other stimuli outside of that. So she was a little nervous with all of that, which isn't ideal for any saddlings, but whatever, we work with the conditions that we have, and guess what, that's real life. There's going to be other things happening when you are doing things, right? So it's a good learning experience for her. So anytime my sister kind of made a loud noise over behind the camera, she got a little jumpy. When I went to do up the cinches, she started moving a little bit, which I don't like. I never really like that. But again, like I mentioned during the first saddling, this is kind of the point of no return. So she was getting a little nervous about everything that was happening around her. I didn't feel like her nerves were coming from what I was doing. So I just continued what I was doing, and I tried to do it as quickly and as smoothly as possible, which is a little hard. It's not the easiest thing in the world all the time, especially when the horse is moving around and you're trying to just be smooth and do what you've got to do. So I think at some point I accidentally dropped the lead rope. I can't remember if that happens now or later on, but the lead rope's kind of wrapped around her leg at this point. It's not. There's my dad in the background. So the lead rope's wrapped around her leg at this point. I think at one point I dropped the lead rope. I also realized during the first saddling that I need to use some WD-40 on some of my metal snaps on the saddle. So it was not, the most ideal circumstances ever. But anyway, the first saddling, she stood for that really well. She didn't buck like crazy. So I wasn't, super concerned. Again, I didn't feel like her moving around was necessarily because of what I was doing, but more so what was going on around her. So as I continue working with her, all of those outside noises and things are not going to be a bother to her. It's just something new. So anyway, I was able to get everything done up well. Again, when you first do the cinch up for these colts, you do not want to do it super tight. If you do it way too tight to start, you can cause a bucking problem that might not have been there to begin with. But if you do it too loose, it can definitely slide off, and then you'll create a problem that definitely wasn't there to begin with. So make sure you do it up snug enough, but not too tight that you're going to make them buck when they might not have done that. So again, I yielded her hindquarters from a distance, both sides. I want them to walk off to begin with, but if she trots, that's totally fine. But with colts, for at least, I don't know, it depends on the horse, but I'd say maybe 10 to 14 rides, saddlings, I let them walk off to start. If you immediately trot or ask them to lope, sometimes you can create anxiety when it comes to saddling, and then you get a lot of horses that won't stand for saddling, or it's just not great. You don't want to create that problem. So always let them walk off to begin with, make it nice, easy breezy, but you definitely need to get all three gaits: walk, trot, lope, changing of direction, stop, go. You definitely have to get everything. You can't always just let them walk. So she did really, really good with this second saddling. Really, really good. There's that lope. They don't have to keep loping. She's definitely more laid back, more whoa than go. So when I point up and I ask for them to go faster, I ask them to lope, They don't have to stay loping. They can lope for 3-4 strides, and that's good enough for me. As long as they hustle and I can see that change of direction, that's fine with me. So anyway, I got changes of direction. We walked, trotted, and loped during that second saddling, and then I double checked that the cinch was done up tight enough. And it was, so send her out again. This time I'm stepping out in front of that drive line to get her to move and change direction. Super, super soft on that lead rope. Like, you would not believe it, my gosh. And then if she offers to walk there, I'll take it. It's the second saddling, you know. Her walking is showing that, you know, she's relaxed. So I'll accept that. Send her the other way, doing those little baby rollbacks. She did really, really good. Bring her into the center. Always bring your horses into the center of the round pen. Don't, especially when they're young and they're green like this, do not do this stuff by a fence. So right now I'm flapping the stirrups, starting with really, really low pressure, just moving those stirrups around. That's a totally new experience for her. So I'm just following her, trying to keep my body language as passive as possible. And I'm just matching the speed that her feet move. I'm not trying to add any extra pressure to the situation. But as soon as she relaxes, I release, I'll retreat and release that pressure. So other side, flapping those stirrups. You see she's getting a little nervous. Keeping that head bent towards me and just following her. Matching the speed of her feet, not running after her, not chasing her, not adding extra pressure to the situation. Just following her. Whenever she stops moving her feet, I will stop doing the thing. And then you notice I rubbed her on her neck right there. She's a really, really sweet horse. All horses really benefit from that. I think if you just give them a little pat on the neck, sometimes when they do really well, I think that goes a long way. And then I went back to doing it on that same side. She did really good. Going back to the other side, keeping that head bent towards me. That is a big safety thing. Get in the habit of doing that. She got a little tight, a little nervous. She walked away from it for just a little bit, so I just followed her, still flapping the stirrup, and then I retreated. So that's what pressure and release training is, right? Pressure, release. Apply the pressure, release when you get what it is that you're asking for. So before I undo the rear cinch, I do a little bit of approach and retreat. I'll always kind of pull on it a little bit so they can feel that on their belly. Again, this is all very new. This is just her second saddling. I will always try. She looked away because she's looking at the mule. So I paid attention to that, bumped that nose back towards me. So yeah, this is all very new. This is just her second saddling. So everything I do it very confidently. I almost will do it like she's, an old broke mare. But I keep in mind she's not, right? So I try to act confident like, hey, been there, done that. We do this every day. We're going to do this every day. Being saddled's not a big deal. When you work with a horse, you establish trust and that communication. They really start looking to you for confidence. So it's really important when you're doing things that might be a little nerve-wracking for the horse, you have to be extra super confident in how you are acting around them. Even if you're not. Even if you're nervous, you have to take a couple deep breaths and you have to be in charge because that horse is going to be looking to you for guidance. So now I'm working with her feet a little bit, rubbing down her front legs. This is the first time I'm rubbing down her back legs, and she could not give a care in the world. A lot of horses are really defensive about their feet, their legs, but she doesn't seem to be at all, and I don't know if that's because of, the way I've been working with her, the timing of it, or if she just wouldn't have been in general, but she's never really been defensive at all about her legs. So I went to the other side, same thing on the other side. Make sure when you're working with that feet, you're paying attention to that head. Being down there by their feet is a really vulnerable position to be in. So she had the weight off of this back leg, so I took advantage of that and I started picking up on that leg a little bit. She didn't care at all. She didn't have any defensiveness about that. So I'm going to tighten that halter a little bit so that I can tie her up. I always tie my horses at the end of the session. She especially will benefit from being tied because her main issue was being really heavy and not wanting to come off that halter pressure. So she benefits from this a lot as any horse does. So yeah, she did fantastic. I've had horses that have bucked a lot worse than that, and they've come around. So I have high hopes for Willow. She did fantastic, and I think she's going to continue to do fantastic. So 2 saddlings today, and we're gonna keep on doing more. So make sure you subscribe to follow along for Willow's journey because we will be riding very soon.